Alright, ladies and gentlemen, fellow cultivators, welcome back. First off, I'd like to say cheers for everybody watching the videos. They seem to be doing quite well. I mean, good response. It's helped some people. All I have to say is subscribe, subscribe and like. And if you see anyone asking, questions that are answered by this video, just chuck them a link to it. Hopefully it helps them like it's helped some of the other people commenting here. Next on to comments, we had the amount of benevolence needed, or malevolence if you want to rob people, needed to search the first, second and third floor cleared up by Athena Autumn, who says the first floor is 300 benevolence, the second floor is 1500 and the third floor is 3000, so it's good to get that cleared up. And then we had Osan Denver, who clarified exactly where you get malevolence and benevolence from. And I will show you this now. It depends on whether your sect is righteous or not. And as you can see, this sect is respected by others. Their elimination of demons is their responsibility. So this sect is a righteous sect. I gain benevolence every year, I assume, every amount of years. I've only just breached... I've only just breached 3,900 benevolence. So, yeah. Anyway, before we ascend to heaven, because I know everyone wants to get straight into it, thoughts on ascending too early. There are some downsides to it. You are weak as hell when you first go up. I mean, as good as guided ascension is in giving you plus 1,000 to all stats, that is bugger all when you first get into heaven. It is an overwhelmingly strong place. So if you decide to stay down here, back on Earth, and just focus on gaining stats, I mean, honestly, that's not a bad thing to do. You'll be able to get further in heaven once you decide to ascend yourself, whether it be by fleshly, good luck, guided, or breaking the array of heaven. But yeah, now let's just get into where everyone wants to see. Ascending to heaven. Alright, now this is where, I mean, I would say the real game begins. It's a very complex interface once again. You're just thrown into it, and it's just like, hello, welcome to heaven, welcome. So I'm going to just start same way I always do. I'm going to start with the bottom left down at heaven sect and work my way across, then go up. It's probably the easiest way to do it. So moving into heaven sect, this is really where you literally create your own sect. I'll start down in Master's Lobby. You have to recruit your own disciples with this one here. I'm currently capped out at 30, but they will cost 5,000 spirit stones per recruit. And it's absolutely worth doing, because the more recruits you have, the more you will be able to do. I will explain that in a little bit. The impart button here is literally teaching your disciples, and you will get to increase the cultivation base of your disciples, which is important again for a reason we'll see in just a second. Recruitment, yep, so 5k spirit stones per disciple. Pretty expensive when you first ascend to heaven, but necessary. Q&A is, I haven't done this yet because it takes a while, but if you answer patiently, I do recommend doing that ad, but you have to answer questions, and the amount of questions will depend on how many disciples you have. But each disciple you answer a question for correctly, you will get merits. And I'm sure you've seen merits as you've been on Earth, but you have had no idea what they do. And we will come into that one as well, or at least where I feel they should be spent. Send salary is literally paying your disciples for being good, I suppose. You have to send them 100 spirit stones, depending on, how many a day. Custodian will be disciples who want to be the custodian, and they will fight you, and then you will likely win because they started key gathering for the most part, and you're already at ascendance, assumably. Now, gift disciples is giving them basically similar to fate. You give them thing and you receive rewards. In this case, it's merit, and it's absolutely worth doing, if not a bit expensive, but I will show you where you get the treasure caskets to gift your disciples. Lecture is sort of similar to impart, and it's where you basically already discipline the disciples, don't give them too much pressure. It's basically where you tell off, or your disciples tell them where they're weak, and you get merits for helping them, pointing out their flaws, shall we say. Now, this mission one is similar to sect missions. You'll obviously have to start at guiding key into the sect. And when you get 5 disciples, that's going to run your 25k spirit stones as soon as you ascend. Bit rough. I do recommend having some stockpiled spirit stones when you get into heaven, because heaven is very expensive, which is ironic, really. I'm down to subdue demons of the earth. I get a bit more than the first mission, but these are absolutely necessary. These continue on in forever until you change. And sect fame, spirit stones, merits, and reputation you will receive from completing it every hour. Now, sermon is this will be basically if you unlock down on earth. When someone first ascends, they can now send people on earth spirit, but like basically help. If you pray for ascendant, when you pray for a cultivation base, or you pray for something, and then immortal, for example, can power transfer. I spend 10 million cultivation base, and I successfully imparted to Rod Funk, apparently. So, grats to him. Yeah, you can only do that once for cultivation base. The rest costs spirit jade. You really don't want to do that, because obviously it's a bit of a waste unless you're just chasing ranks, which fair enough, but I'm definitely not chasing ranks here. Immortal tutorial is another thing. I'm sure you've been down on earth. You'll see a little announcement that goes, this person has protected earthly cultivators, or testing earthly cultivators, and you'll get like a mask on your face, or you can get higher cultivation efficiency, basically. Now these cost spirit jade, so again, you don't really want to do it unless you're trying to chase ranks, and not many people do it at all, and it's only weekly ranking as well, not overall. Blessing is quite similar. You bless someone, costs 1,000 spirit stones. Blessed, you get merits for it. Always useful. Again, there's a ranking system. You don't really need to do this every day if you don't have the spirit stones for it, but it's worth it in my case because I need the merits, and I will tell you more about merits, as I said earlier, after I finish blessing all these people. Enjoy your blessings. Anyway, mental, you won't unlock this till half immortal, and I only literally unlocked this in the last video. And mental will give you cultivation base. You can only do it once a day for both of them, once a day. With mental, you'll get over 10 million cultivation base, and with physical, you will increase your stats once a day. Now, that is Master's Lobby, really. Beast Garden is going to be where you finally get Immortal Beast. These are very rare, super, super rare. I will teach you or at least the fastest way I know of without really paying for it. This Flood Dragonling was a random reward from somewhere that I did not even know I had till I checked my inventory and saw an egg. So I'm sure it's from something very simple, or just achieving a certain level. But once you unlock your Immortal Beast, you can level it up. You see I've got food there. I'm saving my food because I will be getting a new Immortal Beast very soon, and I'll tell you how to do that, but I'm not sure how long this video is going to go on, because it's very, very, a lot to cover, and going to skills, these add basically stats to yourself when you mount it, when you see over here. I'm already on it. I'm not going to get off it, because if you get off it, it's a 24-hour cooldown, and I don't want to deal with the 24-hour cooldown when I get all these attributes bonus at the moment, which is very nice. And then you can upgrade it. You need these Heaven Int pills, and they will increase your base stats of the monsters, and that's all attributes of Immortal Beasts, as in all of them. And they will also increase talents of your servants, which is also nice. And again, I'll explain more about servants. Servants are a very important one. I may have to make a separate video for servants, but we'll see how we go. Now, talents is based on, how many Immortal Beasts you have. Like, you can only go up to, I believe it was 150% base stats, which is a total of 15 Immortal Beasts. If you already have 15 Immortal Beasts when you've just descended, you're an absolute god. Like, basically. But I'll talk more about Immortal Beasts soon. Now, markets are a bit different than back down on Earth. You go into the bookstore, you've got a lot more books to read and get stats from. And, these are worth buying, absolutely. And this is exactly why you need merits. These merits are premium currency. They're not premium currency, but they are rare-ish. And you want to, it's worth spending 1k spirit stones for 100 of them, kind of thing. That's how good it is. Because you will always be spending merits. Like, look how much these cost, 13,000. And you'll get down here and you need more sect fame in order to get the higher level books. But yeah, that's relatively straightforward. You can buy them if you want, especially if you've just descended. If you have like 50k merits, it could be worth getting one. But I wouldn't recommend it for a reason I will tell you soon. Now, this Destiny thing is 2k Spirit Stones a pop. I know that's quite a lot. That's 20k, and this resets every day. Now, I would only recommend doing this like you've got to heaven, and so your daily Spirit Stone income is probably 20, 30k, maybe more. But you definitely want to do at least 5 of these a day because you'll get books out of it, which will give you cultivation base and enlightenment XP, which, as we know, is a free to play. Every extra bit of cultivation base is amazing. That's the only reason I've got to half immortal. In 4,000 years, which is probably terrible. But market another way. This is where you get your treasure caskets to gift to your disciples in order to get more merits. You can only buy 20 a day, but I'm going to just get all them real quick, and I will show you in a second where I spend them. Now, these pill formulas can be worth getting if you really can't get them through the store itself. Paying 3,000 merits here for a level 5 pill formula is quite worth it. The only reason I haven't done it is because I'm saving merits for perception books, and I'll show you where to get perception books. It's in a different area. Skill is the same thing here. I've learned pretty much all of these ones here. I've been in heaven for a little while. Absolutely worth getting, but I wish I'd saved my merits so I could get more perception books, because perception books are key. They are absolutely amazing. These are, obviously, you read them, you get cultivation base, and you get enlightenment XP. Obviously, yep, worth getting if you've got the spare merits, or if you've got like hundreds of thousands of merits, absolutely worth getting. That'd be a brilliant boost to cultivation base when you first enter heaven. But that basically sums up market there. Reception hall is pretty straightforward. You go into communication, and every day you can send an exchange. You're likely never going to have anyone visit you, because here in Seek Exchange, it costs 50 Spirit Jade just to exchange a secret tome with someone else. These are all other people who are trying to exchange, because everyone gets a free invite for exchange. But to actually exchange, it's going to cost you 50 Spirit Stones. And that's pretty expensive, But yeah, that's just my opinion on that. Now, Rift. Rift is pretty important. You're only going to be able to get 5 disciples to begin with, but these rifts, you send your disciples out on missions. They will get cultivation base, and they will bring back items, and these items will help you improve the stats of your servants, such as Beast Blood Essence, TN Essence, as you can see down the bottom here. All these different things, Heaven Signs, and all these things will help boost the stats of your servants, which is important. Servants are hugely important. Now, down in the bottom left, we have ranking. Now, that's just where your sect is ranked. I'm not sure if this is on a person-to-person basis, just in this server. I assume it is, but yeah. Fame is quite slow. You get fame also from your sect missions in the top right. From your alliance missions, in the top right. You always get about 40-something sect fame, and this is where sect fame goes. So if you've always wondered, what the hell is that? This is where it goes. Now, down in the bottom right, we have Compete. This is basically just a PvP ladder for determining the strongest people in the game. You click on someone and you fight them. Basic PvP. I will win this. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, basic PvP. You get 10 attempts a day. You exchange here. Now, all of these first 3 pills are to upgrade a servant when it hits level 100 to Foundation, and that's Again, going to be in the servant video because I feel like this is already dragging. Jesus, yeah, it's already dragging. I've barely even touched on like most things up here. Now these Origin Essence, Origin Souls, and Origin Psi Crystals will be, and Origin Grit are all for upgrading your Talisman. And you get Talisman, again, I'll tell you where you get Talisman soon. Array. Now this array, I'm going to butcher these. I'm just going to butcher the names of these because, yeah. But when you level these up, you get Benevolent Jade and Malevolent Jade, and you're going to get that from the Rome tab. That is a while away. You know, it's a lot to talk about, but I will explain more about this once we get into Rome. But just know that this array is very important. It's as important as your key gathering array. And I made a critical mistake of doing a certain thing in Rome, which I will talk about later. Now, rename, you can rename your sect, basically. Location, you can change the location of your sect. When you first create your sect, you will be allowed to go anywhere on this list of things. And then if you want to move from there, you'll have to pay, basically, to relocate. So that's Heaven Sect. Now, I don't want to touch on Servant this video because that is just such a long talk. So I'm going to go into the Immortal Capital up here. Now, this Immortal Capital, Contest of Tau, this will be after you really get a servant to level 60, they will be able to fight in PvP against other people's servants. Quite simple, really. You know, you get a score ranking, you verse other people. I'm 78th, which is like 105 points compared to the first, who's 3,300 points. But yeah, you fight people's servants and you get rewards for it, and I'll explain more about that when we hit the servant explanation. Now, one thing I will say in travel, do not do this when you first descend. Because as soon as you click dispatch, you are fighting, and when you first ascend to heaven, you're likely only going to have a couple 100k spirit troops to begin with, and which is this top right thing. It says 4.38 million, and you're not going to have much command because you haven't done anything with your servants yet, and you will lose all of your spirit troops, and you will have to get them back again, and that is just not ideal, really. But spirit pet. This is another relatively simple but also kind of complex idea where each one of these you will get to interact with them daily. So you click on one and you can accompany it. You get to accompany it for free once a day, and that will increase its mana. As you can see here, this is mana 20. I've interacted with him 20 times. And you get gifts. You can give them more mana. These are a bit pay to win because the higher mana a pet has, you can actually upgrade them, and you also get rewards from accompanying them, which is a nice little bonus. And you can go up here to top right to evolve, but you will need, I believe, about 50 mana, I think, to evolve it, but I could be wrong there, that's a guess. This is, again, affecting servants in the Eastern Immortal realm. We're going to have to touch on servants in the next episode because... but yeah, I will get on that in the next episode. So each of these you can interact with, and then down here it'll randomly interact with one, and occasionally it will gain godhood every time you interact based on the amount of mana it has. And when you first start, you will get a baby pet to upgrade, and you just have to cultivate them, and it will reset every 3 hours. You get another vitality, and level 7 out of 10, and you got to do it 2 times per level, so 20 times. You have to interact with it quite a few times to get it to max level. But once you've done that, your baby pet will be grown, and you will get these permanent stat increases, which is really what you want. You want to always be leveling your pets to get them grown. Now, integration bonuses. This is sort of pay to win, but you do get free items to do it. For example, if I click just this normal spirit grade thunder one, I click request, can't get anything. I go into details, and I go for a search for synthesize, and I can synthesize with other people who are looking to synthesize, and putting them together, both I and the person I synthesize with will gain a pet that gives them more stats. But the downside is that it costs either Spirit Jade or a Yin Yang branch, and a Yin Yang branch is rare, very rare. And 5 Spirit Jade to integrate is not that bad of a cost, but the higher the mana of the pet itself, the higher the chance of you getting an Earth level pet, which is what this was. And that's the only reason I spent the... I had a Yin Yang branch from an event at some point, and I decided to synthesize it with someone else's pet, and it was absolutely worth it, as you can see by the stat gains there. If you have any extra questions on this, feel free to ask me. I'm touching on what I am doing at the moment. I'm sure I've missed a few things, so I'm more than happy to answer questions about it. Spirit Holding Palace, I cannot enter for another entire big realm, so that's it's a while away. But yeah, travel is where you don't want to be when you first descend. Very dangerous. You will lose everything, and you're not going to be happy about it. So this is just like the first of maybe 3 parts for Ascension. It really was a light touch over, and a bit of personal thoughts on it, and ideas. I don't want to touch on servants in this episode, because that'll be just as long a conversation as we've had already. Same as Rome. So I'll try and put servant and Rome together, and I'll try and have that out as soon as possible. But until then, I shall see you all later. Don't forget to subscribe, spread the video, and enjoy your day.